What is Cafe Mocha? Experts, celebrities.
Hey, this is John Legend.
Yours truly, Idris Elba.
This is Fantasia.
I am Ian Levinson.
Hey everybody, it's your girl Tamar Braxton.
Music and features from a woman's perspective. Intriguing conversation. The Swag Award. Espresso. The MC Light Mix. Radio from a woman's perspective.
What flavor are you, baby?
This is Cafe Mocha.
I'm Angelique. Welcome to Cafe Mocha. We've been hearing a lot about President Obama's My Brother's Keeper program. This weekend, we're talking about the importance of mentors. And kicking things off is a former NBA player who came home one day and his parents were gone. Derek Anderson tells a story of how mentors saved his life. Plus, next hour, Omar from The Wire's got a new movie and you gotta see it. This is Cafe Mocha. It's Cafe Mocha. This weekend, we're asking the question, are you your brother's keeper? You know, we're focused on the importance of mentoring young brothers.
Yes. Absolutely. And on the line, he went from sleeping in the streets to the NBA. He started with the Cleveland Cavaliers and ended in Charlotte with the Bobcats with MJ, Michael Jordan, one of my homies. His book is called Stamina. Derek Anderson is on the line with us. How are you?
I am doing great.
This byline here went from sleeping in the streets to the NBA. You know that right there brings chills.
Okay.
Tell us your story.
I think what happens is, it was the 80s, so it was, everyone came from the war. My dad was in the Vietnam War. My mother and he and I was having problems. And it was the 80s, and at 10 years old, they both just disappeared. My dad left, got into a big fight. My mom shot him, he left. A few months later, I came home from school one night on a Friday, and she didn't show up. She wasn't there. The door was locked. I had to sleep outside the weekend, but I remember seeing people work at the Winn-Dixie. So I went up there and carried people's bags, but I was polite. There's kids that they don't understand that, but I was just respectful, and I carried people's bags, got my first $3, and I started to get some Kentucky Fried Chicken, but I went back to the grocery store and got bread and bologna, and I survived through the weekend. And then I didn't see my mother again until 10 years later at the funeral. Then another 14 years later when I went looking for her. So it was tragic at the time. I didn't understand what I was doing, but I knew one thing I had to do is not give up.
I am left speechless here.
Well, we all
so many
stupid.
Emotions that are happening right now, and I wonder, out of all of the people that you came into contact with, who were the mentors? Who were the ones who took you in? Obviously, the woman next door, giving you water and things that you may have needed from time to time. But were there any standout people in your life?
Well, what's funny is everyone was. I had a high school coach. I had a middle school coach who told me to play basketball. First time I ever played. I had a guy who, the high school gymnasium, the janitor, he let me sleep in my high school gym because I had nowhere to go. The school teacher told me to keep my head up and don't fall asleep in class, and I got an A in her class, so she made me the class president of our social studies class. So it was a lot of people helping me out because they saw potential that I didn't see. All I saw was drama, sadness and hurt, but they saw something bigger, and they actually just gave me positive reinforcement, and that motivated me.
We are talking
unreal
to Derek Anderson, spent 11 years in the NBA. His book is called Stamina. More on the way.
Stamina.
Oh, for sure. More on the way on Cafe Mocha. This weekend, Cafe Mocha's asking, are you your brother's keeper? We are right in the middle of former NBA player Derek Anderson's story of being abandoned as a boy and going from that to making it in the NBA.
It's Cafe Mocha, and this is MC Light. I just wanted to know, are you single?
I knew that was coming.
You can't.
He can't face.
He just makes too much sense.
Derek, I can see it in her eyes, Derek. We are talking to Derek Anderson. He spent 11 years in the NBA, author of Stamina.
She hating.
I'm not hating at all.
She gonna let him answer the question.
No, I'm not hating at all. I just want everybody to know who we're talking to. And the reason Light is so impressed is because this young man went from being abandoned by his family to the NBA.
Right.
And he's got stamina.
But everything in between is
is just phenomenal. So you have to get his book to read the whole story. So getting back to Light's question of your family life.
Well, you know, I don't drink and smoke, but I do some other things. That's why I had a kid when he was 14.
You know what? Stop it.
That was perfect.
Everybody has a vice. It's good to know what yours is. Anyway,
NBA.
Let's talk about, as someone who spent his life being helped by other people, being mentored by other people, can you talk about what mentorship you're involved in?
See, my thing is, I don't just go around and speak and then all of a sudden I'm gone. That's like putting a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. You got to really interact with people. You got to sit and have a conversation because most of these kids just don't know. Like when I meet with them, I want them to have a conversation. I want them to stay connected with me. So if they call me at 2 in the morning and say, man, I'm thinking about X, Y, and Z, I got to tell them, don't go out and drink, man. Just stay, talk to me, tell me what's up. I'm your brother. Talk to me. Be real with me. You know, they tell you the real deal at that point. So then I can actually help them. So it's just not just one organization. It's basically whoever that needs help at any point in time.
How do you feel about what's happening today with young black men? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think today's society is too many people have backed off of what is called discipline. I think that's where we've lost a lot of focus because there's nothing different that happened in the Wild Wild West when they were killing people in open. We were getting hung as black people. So you can't tell me we're in a worse time. It's just social media has put so much spin on it and they're showing everything. Now everybody's thinking, oh, the world's coming to an end. If that was the case, the world would have been to an end when you was hanging people for being black.
Amen.
You know, so it's not that. It's just the fact that social media is downgrade. It's killing our society because kids think, okay, how can I be famous or successful? And they think setting themselves on fire, choking themselves, they think that's going to make them famous because it's getting attention. And I think we just need to focus on raising our kids and keeping them occupied with doing something else.
All right. Derek Anderson.
Spitting the knowledge.
The book is called Stamina. I need a copy. You need a copy,
we all
too.
need a copy.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Did I say that?
Well, we're going to put him on hold and you can have him in private, right? Okay.
Derek, for calling us.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you, ladies.
We appreciate you.
Congratulations, too.
Thank you. Take care.
President Obama wants us all involved in saving young lives. Take the My Brother's Keeper Community Challenge by logging on to mbkchallenge.org. On the way, he teaches film at Morehouse, and he took the MBK Challenge.
And next week, I'm launching My Brother's Keeper Community Challenge, asking every community in the country, big cities and small towns, rural counties, tribal nations, publicly commit to implementing strategies that will ensure all young people can succeed, starting from cradle all the way to college and a career. It's a challenge to local leaders to follow the evidence and use the resources on what works for our kids. And we've already got 100 mayors, county officials, tribal leaders, Democrats, Republicans signed on. And we're going to keep on signing them up in the coming weeks and months.
If you want to mentor future leaders like former NBA player Derek Anderson, take the My Brother's Keeper Community Challenge by logging on to mbkchallenge.org.
This is Cafe Mocha.
It's Cafe Mocha. We are discussing Ferguson, Missouri. And at this point in the show, we're talking about solutions. And one of the things President Obama brought up was his initiative, My Brother's Keeper. And I just happen to know somebody who worked with My Brother's Keeper, Avery Williams from Morehouse University. Hi, Avery.
Hey, Angelique, how are you?
I'm great. Now, will you first explain to us what My Brother's Keeper is and kind of how it works?
Sure. My Brother's Keeper is an initiative from the White House that basically extends itself to various programs, state-run programs that are designed to help uplift, ennoble, teach, educate young people, and it's really targeted for people of color. And each state is sort of figuring out what it is that they want to do on how they will tie into that initiative and make it work.
So now, since you're on the hands-on, what did you have your hands on regarding to My Brother's Keeper? What were you doing?
Well, wonderfully, the state, well, actually the city of Las Vegas decided that they want to educate their young people in filmmaking arts. In other words, they want them to be trained on how to work in the film business. And so as such, a wonderful group called Nevada Partners got together with an Atlanta-based group, Studio 11, and created a program whereby we train the very first certified production assistants in the city of Las Vegas.
So we are talking about the My Brother's Keeper initiative. We've all kind of heard about it. Most of us aren't quite sure how it works, so I just wanted to reach out and share just one story, one of probably a million that are going on in cities and towns across the country. Thank you so much for what you're doing, Avery Williams. And what's going on at Morehouse this year?
Well, Morehouse, wonderfully, is going into its third year of its Cinema, Television, and Emerging Media Studies program. It's actually our film program. A lot of people thought that because Spike Lee and Sam Jackson graduated from Morehouse that we had a film program. But this is a fairly new initiative that was funded by the Mellon Foundation. So under the auspices of our new president, John Wilson, we are moving forward with our film program, and we're training our young men and to become the next generation of our nation's storytellers.
All right. Thank you so much. How do people reach you?
That's Avery.Williams@Morehouse.edu. Avery.Williams@Morehouse.edu.
Thanks, Avery, and shouts out to all the future leaders at Morehouse. If you want more on how you too can challenge, encourage, and train the next generation of young brothers, take President Obama's My Brother's Keeper Challenge at mbkchallenge.org.
It's your boy.
African American girls are more likely than their white peers also to be suspended, incarcerated, physically harassed. Black women struggle every day with biases that perpetuate oppressive standards for how they're supposed to look and how they're supposed to act. Too often, they're either left under the hard light of scrutiny or cloaked in a kind of invisibility. So in addition to the new efforts on My Brother's Keeper, the White House Council for Women and Girls has for years been working on issues affecting women and girls of color, from violence against women to pay equity to access to health care. And you know Michelle's been working on that because she doesn't think our daughters should be treated differently than anybody else's sons.
If you want to get involved and mentor future leaders like former NBA player Derek Anderson, take the My Brother's Keeper Community Challenge. Log on to mbkchallenge.org.
This is Cafe Mocha. Cafe Mocha.
It's Cafe Mocha. I'm Angelique on the line. We fell in love with him as Omar on The Wire. Plus, he is Chalky White on Boardwalk Empire. With me is Michael K. Williams. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm great. I just saw Kill the Messenger. Amazing movie.
Thank you.
Amazing. Now, you know, our community is filled with the conspiracy theories. Tupac's still alive, Jay-Z's Illuminati. But this is actually a conspiracy theory that turned out to be true. Can you explain to us about it?
You know, it's basically Guy Webb. He broke the story of how the government allegedly flooded the streets of L.A. with crack cocaine to fund the Contra War.
Now, you said allegedly. Didn't they admit? Didn't the CIA admit to doing it?
Yeah, but you know, I say allegedly because no one went to jail.
Yeah.
No one was brought to justice.
Right, that's true.
And all those debts. There was a lot of genocide. Someone should pay for that. There was a lot of crack debts on them streets. You know, so I mean, until someone goes to jail or gets the blame for, someone has to hold the bag. You know, it just can't just you know, Rick Ross can't be the only one that does the time. I'm
talking to Michael K. Williams. He plays Rick Ross in Kill the Messenger. Now, speaking of no one ever paying a debt, you know, right now our community is really up in arms. Ferguson, Trayvon Martin, we don't have jobs. Do you think when this movie comes out and we hear what the government allegedly did to our cities and inner cities, do you think there could be some kind of uprising?
You know, the uprising I would love to see is I would love to see us start to love each other more.
Okay.
You know, we can't expect anybody to treat us better than we treat ourselves. And right now, we are dying at the hands of each other more rapidly than anything else. So I would hope that this would stop some of the black-on-black crime, some of the gang violence, you know, and let's unite and start to uplift our own hood. You know, we don't need anybody else to do that. That's something we can start doing right now, uplift our own hood, you know, and then, and only then, I believe, will people start to look at us and treat us differently.
More coming up with Michael K. Williams on the new film, Kill the Messenger. It's Cafe Mocha. We are talking about Kill the Messenger, brand new movie coming out October 10th. Michael K. Williams is on the line. Of course, Chalky White from Boardwalk Empire. Can we switch to that? Can we get just a taste of what might be coming this season?
Man, hold on to your hats. It's going to be explosive. It's definitely going down this season. This is by far one of the best seasons, I believe. And it's just intense. It's really dark. And it's just, you know, it's the end of an era.
Okay. I just happened to one of your colleagues there on Boardwalk Empire, new castmate. His name is Levi. He plays one of the henchmen. He said, quote unquote, "Tell Michael them Gap ads are dope." I looked it up, and you got the sexy grown man gray beard going on, and it's, I guess the campaign is the Gap ad dress normal.
Yeah.
How'd you hook up with that? That's different.
They called me.
Yeah? Were they Boardwalk Empire fans, or?
I have no idea, but my mother told me never look a gift horse in the mouth.
That's the truth.
Yeah, so
Check, please.
I jumped on that right away, you know. And to think I used to be a stock boy for the Gap years ago,
wow.
and to see myself as their spokesperson is it's pretty humbling.
And it's the ad is quite sexy, ladies.
Thank you, sister. I appreciate that.
Google it, getting the grown man going on. Let me ask you something. Have you ever played a good guy?
I think all my guys are good at the core.
As an actor, yes, because no one is all bad, no one is all good.
Yeah.
But in terms of societal perception, have you ever played a good guy?
Yes, I have. I have a role coming out sometime this year. It's a small film called Anastasia.
Okay. That
actually Tim Blake Nelson, who plays my defense attorney in Kill the Messenger, he and I hit a chord and hit it off, and he casted me in his movie that he wrote and directed. And in case you don't know his work, Tim Blake Nelson directed O, which was an adaptation of Othello starring Pat Pfeiffer.
Yes.
Yeah, he directed that many years ago. So this is his film that he wrote and directed this one. And he casted me as a Yale graduate criminal defense attorney.
Nice.
So I'm looking forward to seeing myself and all that legal jargon coming out of my mouth.
We are talking to Michael K. Williams, Kill the Messenger, out on October 10th. How do people reach you?
Oh man, I'm on that Twitter all day. My Twitter and my Instagram. That's me all day, and that is BKBMG, and that stands for Brooklyn Boy Makes Good.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm going to hit you up right now. Thank you so much.
No doubt, sister. Thank you. Have
Congrats.
a good day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Baby. The Espresso is brought to you by the American Cancer Society. Sign up today at makingstrideswalk.org. We need you to help finish the fight against breast cancer. I'm Angelique, and President Obama is encouraging us to mentor our young men with the My Brother's Keeper Challenge.
I was the first one to acknowledge government can't play the only or even the primary role in the lives of our children, but what we can do is bring folks together, and that's what we're doing.
Get involved at mbkchallenge.org. Nas has always spoken for the brothers, and his documentary, Time is Illmatic, comes out on demand and iTunes this weekend.
You hear Nas and you hear Time is Illmatic, and you might think it's a story about a rapper and his album. But the story's so much bigger than that, you know. Young black men are talked about, you know, he got shot by the cops, or they're in jail at this rate, or, you know, dropped out of high school at this rate. But you never get a chance to see it through the eyes of the person who experienced it. And we use Nas's story to do that. So it's really important for us, we sacrifice a lot of that music stuff in order for us to tell the story of us, not just of Nas.
And it's not just a movie. Nas is his brother's keeper. He's screening the movie at schools and prisons around the country, offering young men lessons in songwriting, music, and film production. Go to timeisillmatic.com/education for more. I'm Angelique, and that's The Espresso.
The phone lines are wide open. Call us up at 866-357-4323. That's 866-357-4323. Let us know where you're checking in from, what song you want to hear, and more. This is Cafe Mocha.
MC Light and the Light Mix. That's the end of the show. We can sit around all day complaining about young people and how they don't act right, or we can do what President Obama said and be responsible and help out the next generation. He's asking us to take the My Brother's Keeper Challenge. Just log on to mbkchallenge.org. We're back next weekend asking, how are you getting smarter in relationships? Until then, you can find us online at Cafe Mocha Radio.
Cafe Mocha is a production of Miles Ahead Broadcasting in partnership with Westwood One. Executive producer Sheila Eldridge. Writer and producer Angelique Perrin. For comments, booking, and more information, visit cafemocharadio.com.